Benjamin. Today we're gonna be doing. I basically had a group member in my chat that wanted to do a group game versus bot. So hopefully he'll be on soon so we can interact and he can ask questions while I try my best to answer them and also do this as well at the same time. Yeah, if you're watching this right now, you're definitely are watching it not live. Um, I have to share it to my groups and stuff. So give me a second here. Yeah, you can always fast forward if you like to maybe 2 3 minutes. Give me a second here. Basically, I should just do an intro instead. Just kind of like my name is Benjamin. I have a group that I teach under 1,000, and I do a lot of stuff. Talk about chess fundamentals, principles, and a lot of good stuff, a lot of good work, and about studying and tactics and stuff like that. So, and puzzles and videos and all that. So that's kind of what I do for the most part. I'm not super strong. I mean, you can see down there, I'm like it says 1504. I'm not super strong, but I'm definitely good enough to teach and explain stuff that I understand. Um, I pretty much know almost everything except for like basically accuracy. Like I pretty much know a lot about chess. I just got to increase my accuracy. That's pretty much it. So it's basically trial and error right now at this point. I learned studied for like maybe 2 years total, not not four, not eight. I think four is what people usually kind of go for master, I believe. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Um, and did you want to start with black or with white? Because I can pick either way. I'm not sure if there's an opening specific that you're kind of curious about, or if you just want me to go ahead and just basically talk about each move and what I'm doing and why and so forth. So it's really up to you. I'll give you a minute to respond, and then I can get started. And there's different bots too. Like the Maria one is more aggressive, but there's other ones that are around the same level that's more positional. Like she's kind of a little bit more positional. Um, yeah. So pretty much this guy likes to trade everything into the end game. So it's like different positional, tactical, and trade to the end game. Is basically the three styles of computer at 1200. I like this one, so I guess I just go out this one if you're not sure what you want specifically. Um, I'll put random. Hello. Yeah. Do you want white or black? Is there a specific opening you're looking for? White. Okay. Black King Indian. I actually play the perk a lot, and that's very similar to the King's Indian. Um, I believe from here it's knight to f6 is the move. So you can do that. Okay. Now, for my opening report in this situation, I usually do the Budapest Gambit. But since you like the King's Indian, we go ahead and just do g6 and bishop g7, which is fine. I like this. It's very sharp and there's lots of tricks and stuff. But yeah. Okay, bishop to g6. Yeah, this is kind of what I don't like with the King's Indian. That's why I usually do the Budapest Gambit when I see both d4 and c4. But I guess this can be okay. Be a pretty nice learning experience for myself as well. It's something that I'm not fully comfortable with, so I decided to change up my game. But I definitely have no problem checking it out or The Perk and the King's Indian are actually, I think they're very similar. Like for example, right here, I would play d4. Um, but I think it'd still be considered the King's Indian. But for the Perk, I believe you'd have to have e4, d4 out, and the knight here. I think the King's Indian is more of this. So it's kind of it's really similar, but let me go ahead here and do d6 just in case he tries to push, just to prevent from pushing. I forget what this is called. Oh, Shaman variation. There's just different. I think it's the 150 attack is really similar to this when you play the perk. I think it's called the 150 attack. And the idea is basically to build like a crazy structure and then eventually bring the bishop and the queen in and try to trade off the bishops. And after the bishops get traded off, I'm not sure, but I think it's supposed to push the pawns and try to checkmate you pretty quickly while they castle king queen side. I think that's the ideas for this, but I'm not 100% sure. Here we can just castle. But even if that's all the major plans, this is the 1200 bot, so they might not even do any of it. But it looks like it's starting it. Looks like the start of the attack that I've learned, which is perfectly fine. We're perfectly fine here. There's a couple of lines that you can play here, I believe. I believe b6 is one of them, where you can fianchetto your bishop. Another one that I've learned was knight to bd7, obviously to help support these, where you can decide to push later on. A6 is a little weird. It's like it's not bad, but it's not really making much progress, so it's a little confusing. Bishop knight to c6, I thought had a trick after d5, but I don't remember it. But I do believe there was a trick where you get to trade off 3 minor pieces for a queen, but that's also bad for you. But it was like a really weird thing that I seen. But not sure what you would prefer to see. Knight to c6, knight to bd7, which is fine. b6 to fianchetto on the queen side to attack. But it's kind of difficult to attack this way because of all the pawns. Normally when you attack a pawn chain, you attack the lower part of the pawn chain to be successful, because that's the one that's protecting the rest. So you get rid of the bottom one, then this one, they all just kind of fall. So you kind of normally want to attack the bottom. You can do it though if you wanted, and then try to break it up. Knight to d7. I like knight to d7. I don't think it's defensive. I think it's more flexible because you can play at any point e5 or d5. I mean c5, and your knight will be supporting it. So I think it's I don't think it's a defensive move. I think it's more of a flexible move, and you can later push your pawns afterward. That's the yeah. So it's a bit more flexible. I know a lot of people will be uncomfortable with it because the bishop will be blocked in, but these pawns are here anyway. So where can your bishop actually go besides to e6? And if you go to e6, like all you have to do is push down, and then you got to go back anyway. So your bishop isn't really going to be doing much, and then your knight will be trapped if that happens. So like that would be kind of bad. So I can show you. I can just play knight b to d7 and show why it's flexible. That way, in your own games, you might be more comfortable playing it if you need to. I don't like playing it usually. I like my bishop here, but because of f3, you would have to know like what to do with your bishop, and also why this move is fine. That way, if someone does play f3 against you, you don't have to be stuck with your bishop wondering what to do, because you can basically fianchetto this way and have this available for these. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and get it started. Should be fine. Okay. The normal move right here is the queen move to try to attack. It looks like he's trying to develop, but I don't know what she's doing with her bishop. So that looks really bad. I don't like it at all. I'm thinking about c5 because that's kind of one of the normal moves. Um, that's one of the more normal moves. E5 is okay as well. The problem with that is that it blocks in the bishop because your pawn's here, and he can just move down, and then you're basically locked in. But they might trade it anyways. But because it's a computer, you don't really know if it's going to or not. Because sometimes the computers don't follow through with plans. They just kind of do what they think is good and what they think is good and what they think is good until they blunder. So I guess all things aside, I'm just gonna go ahead and just do knight, just go c5 and play my normal way. Okay, that was a really weird move. Um, because of the bishop and the fianchetto, you actually can play b6 here, and then if she were to take back and have a better center, and also be able to kill your bishop later. So like that move right here, that wasted move, I don't know what she was doing, but because she wasted time, actually is going to help your structure out. So okay, that's another wasted move, another wasted tempo. So she wasted two moves already. The first one allowed to fianchetto and also help your structure out, and the second one, I guess, you know what? This pawn is weak right here. And the plan was bishop d7 to attack this way to get developed, but right here, it'll be attacking the c5 pawn, which is undefended. And I think that might be a pretty good move. She can play b3, but I'm not entirely sure. I like it because it's attacking, but the bishop won't be doing much here. I think over here it'll be a little bit more pressure. He can defend. The London system is actually very common. When I play black, I see it maybe 30% of my games, 30 to 40%. So they play it quite often. There's just a lot of people play the London. I think people play the London at all ranges because they have it at the highest level as well, like grandmasters and stuff. Then you have masters. So therefore, like anyone learning chess, they probably would pick the London just because it's something that's solid. It's simple to understand, and anyone can play it. Obviously, you're not going to play it like a grandmaster unless you really studied in lines depth. But a lot of people just learn the basics, couple of moves, and then as you go up in levels and rankings, people get more and more in that as well. So like, let's pretend you're 500 and people are playing it. They probably memorize their first 4 or 5 moves, and that's probably it, and nothing else. And then if you get closer to 1,000, you have people who might know a few plans, maybe a trick or two, and then 1,200, they might know a little bit of more solid how to play it and avoid certain things. And then maybe, some theory after like 14, 1,500. And then people learn it and they just get more and more advanced with it as the ranking goes up. Like people play it at all levels. The London is very common. All right, back to let me see here. So I'm going to do bishop a6 for the reason that I've said, because I like the idea of putting pressure on it. And she defended, but that looks a little weird. That right there looks very weird. I don't like it too much. I'm pretty sure I can take advantage of it somehow. I just don't know how yet. Here's a really weird line that I can try. Knight to g4. If he captures the knight, I can capture the center and fork the pieces, which means I'll win a piece. And basically, what that means is that I'll lose a knight, I win a pawn, they will move one of these two pieces, and I'll take the other one. So basically, I win a pawn, and on top of winning a pawn, white's going to have double pawns over here. This right here is going to be open. This is taken, so the center is going to be busted. King hasn't castled yet. I'll be winning one of these two pieces, and then my bishop will now have a range of attack. So like I get massive benefits from sacrificing my knight and then winning a piece back. So I'm not simply trading a piece. I'm getting lots of different positional advantages. So basically, he got double pawns. I win a pawn, and then I'm attacking here. And after he moves somewhere, I'll capture one of them, and then I would have this awesome attack here. So I gain a lot of positional advantages just from this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm not simply just trading a piece. I'm actually gaining a lot of benefits from doing so. All right, so she takes, and we can continue with the plan. Capturing. And because she moved back, obviously, you can take the knight now. The only issue I see here is that I don't want to trade bishops. Yeah. Okay, so I don't have to worry about that now. All right, so double pawns here, isolated pawn. Our material is basically even, but right now, these are all like targets. Like I can try to find ways to target them. I can't take this right now because the bishop. So rook to c8 comes to mind because I can obviously use that to take it. Knight to e5 comes to mind because knight to e5, I can attack both these pawns. So now because I noticed the weaknesses and I know I have to develop, like you basically taught to develop just to develop. But if you can find reasons to develop with an attack, that's good. And if you understand positional weaknesses like this, then you can purposely develop an attack. So like I'm developing my rook and I'm attacking. I'm developing my knight to a more centralized squares and I'm attacking some weaknesses. So like when you develop, it's good to develop with an attack if you can. And here you can do it in two different ways. I kind of like the knight a little bit better, but the rook, I don't see anywhere else the rook would be useful. So like because I can right now, I mean I might lose. I'm not sure if it's going to be super important later on the road. But also if I come here to threaten both, and let's say she defends one, and let's say I take and we take, later I can move my rook in for an attack. So I'm not sure. I mean, if I could do it now, I'm not sure if this will be available later either, because then she can just, try to take it. If I, something like that, if I threatened it for his pawn, it might prevent me from doing that later on. So I'm not entirely sure, but I like them both. And this is where, like, the difference between me and masters is that I've learned all this stuff, but I'm not very accurate. So like I know what I'm doing, but I don't know exactly why and what is better and why. I know they both work. And then if I practice it enough, because I've been studying for 2 years, if I practice this stuff enough, then I wouldn't see this position in the future and be like, oh, I remember this. And I learned from my analysis that this is better than that. And that's pretty much what you need to do after you learn all the stuff that I'm trying to teach with the chess principles, the fundamentals. I'm telling you, I run to do like tactic puzzles and stuff and try to talk about development and chess principles. All that stuff is stuff that you need to know. And then once you learn it and remember it, you're going to see different stuff like this. And this is the stuff that I see. And then I won't know exactly what is better and why. And then later on, I have to analyze it and figure it out. And then hopefully in the future, remember it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the knight because I'm worried about the bishop here. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, that was a bit weird. Um, I was expecting h3. That was a very weird move. I can just simply take right here, um, and I'll be attacking the bishop at the same time, and obviously threatening to stop him from castling. So if I take here, the bishop would have to move to a square that's not very good, because in this square is not targeting anything, and this square is undeveloped and stopping the rook. So this right here actually helps. I'm sorry, yeah, this right here actually helps unless she trades, but that'll give me the two bishops and also an extra pawn. So I like that. And this is kind of how you have to try to find moves. Like there's different moves. I can probably play rook to c8. I might be able to play queen here. Um, I might be able to, let's say, take knight takes g4. Like I have different options, but I like this one a lot because I win a pawn and I'm threatening to capture here and forcing him to either undevelop or trade and lose the bishop pair. And the bishop pair is stronger when the board is open. And this board is very open. So this is a good idea. And I didn't notice it this time. Last move, I didn't notice the difference. And I think I found a better one out of the two by chance, by accident. So I don't think I need to analyze it later. I think I found out why this would be better. And it's because of this bishop here and here makes it better. Okay. Trading bishops, which is better for me. And this is part of the normal plan. She took a very long time, but to try to trade off the bishop here. I mean, yeah, the dark square bishop. At this point, if I really wanted to, I can leave my rook over. Just so if it happens, I get to keep my rook. Wait, actually, I don't have to worry about that. If I move my rook over and she moves back, I can just move my bishop back and keep the diagonal, and not worry about my rook being taken or trading my bishops. So that's an idea. It's a little weird, but it's something that I consider a lot. Most of the time when I play it is an inaccuracy or a mistake. So I never know when to play it properly, but I play it to keep my bishop and also if I can move rook over so it's not taken. Bishop to d7 attacks the pawn. That's an idea. I like bishop to c8 too to try to put pressure and move the rook over. But if I'm going to do that, I probably should move the rook first. Bishop to e5 is good. Looks good because I can attack the knight. But there's also a chance that the bishop might come here. So I don't want to trade the bishops unless I'm forced to. I don't want to invite it. If it's forced, then I have to do it. So I'm going to go out with the rook move. I prolonged it enough. So those are different ideas and thoughts, but I think that's the one. Okay, knight back. I'm not really excited about that move. She's undeveloping. It's kind of weird. I don't like it either. So it's probably really inaccurate. It's not like a blunder or anything, but she's undeveloping her pieces. And I don't know where she's going to go. I mean, unless she's looking to come here so she can move her bishop out the way and not defend his pawn. But actually, it might be the case. But I don't want to take it, though. Queen of d7 comes to mind now because this pawn is really undeveloped. And if she can't really defend it, but she can move it up, and it'll block her bishop from coming in. So I'm really focused on this bishop because it's the normal thing. So actually, queen to d7 might make him block in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think that's the way to go. Okay, that's what I thought she was doing. I definitely don't. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just take here. It's a free pawn, and I can start attacking soon. And my bishop here, and he's defending it now, but I can always play e5. So like if I take, let's say she comes down and I play e5, for example, it's a free knight. I mean, she can take and we can take all day, but if the knight moves, that will be a checkmate. So this is a good setup for long term. It's a really good attack. Um, let's see here. If you notice, everything is like positional that I'm explaining, and I don't really have much going on. Like I only have two extra pawns, but after weakening everything that one tactic, there was double pawns, and isolated pawn. Well, these two pawns became targets, and I was able to capture them, and that's why isolated pawns are weak, and that's why I was excited to do it, and I knew I can take advantage of it. So I don't have much of an advantage, but I do have extra two pawns, and she didn't really do any major blundering. So at least not that I think of. I know I'm in a really good position, and I don't know if knight to e2. Yeah, she can defend if she wanted to. Like basically, if I want queen to e2, that'll be checkmate. I mean, not checkmate. She'll be able to take my queen if I did that. I can also take the knight, and if she take back, this would be checkmate. So that's like removing the defender. So I know I can't do checkmate because she can take it. So the idea is, can I chase it around? I can chase it, but better, I can capture it. She can't take back. That's a free knight. And I'm also having like two bishops glaring down, and I'm ready for checkmate. Like basically, she might have to just move the queen over to defend, but then I can just call check and pick up the rook. So yeah, positionally, like she did a lot of stuff that was bad, and right now it looks like I have a free knight and then a free rook right after, because she's gonna be check. That may be checkmate actually. Yeah, that would be checkmate. Takes, moves over. That's checkmate. So if I capture, what defense does she have to prevent checkmate? G3. So her rook can come in to defend. So this is for free. G3. Then I can take the pawn and call check again. The rook can defend, and I won't have. Well, that would be different. I don't know. This looks very promising, so I'm going to play it. I don't see an actual checkmate, but it looks like it's really good. All right, G3. So I can just take it. And then after that, I'll look for a checkmate. I should have a checkmate somewheres. I didn't see it earlier, but I should have it somewheres. This is the check. Check. Let me see. Check. Okay, so I have a couple of checks. So basically, my job is to calculate, and this is where puzzles come in. When you learn puzzles and you do puzzles and puzzles and puzzles over again, this is the point of it. Even if I never seen a puzzle like this before, I've done enough of them to know how to calculate them and look at forcing moves. So let's pretend the bishop to b3. All right. She has queen to c2, which makes me win the queen. And she also has king to e2. So let's say she plays, I'm assuming king to e2. Let's pretend that's what she plays. I would be able to take the rook. That's a free rook. Okay, let's say I play and she moves up and I take. That's a trade. So basically I win bishop b3 and queen to g1. Well, that would depend. Like if she moves the queen up, yeah, that may be possible too. If she moves the queen up, she'll block with a bishop. I'm not sure. I know right here I'll win the queen and then the rook. But if she moves up, I can just take the rook and call check. It just really depends. I don't see if she moves here why I would go here because I can just take the. But then again, I can do that so I can take the rook first and the bishop. Yeah, that might be pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead with. Go ahead. All right. So if I go queen to e1, but she's also gonna move back, take, and then take this way. Kind of lose a little bit of a sting. I can just take this now though, and then take the rook. Yeah, because if I go g1 first, check, and have him block, if I were to take the bishop, I mean the queen, the rook is saved. So I should take this now and then the rook. Yeah, you win it either way, but because of the bishop move, it allows the rook to defend and get out of dodge. So let's go ahead and get that. Okay. And after that, there's two moves possible. I also can take the pawn and call it check. That's also possible. And then take the rook. Or just take the rook. I think I'll just take the rook. I don't want to get too tactical. When I'm winning like this, I don't like to think too much stuff. I probably should. I just don't like it. I like rook takes c3 here for check. Okay. If I move the rook here and she takes and I take, I will be threatening mate unless she moves the rook out the way. So I like that. I like the idea of threatening mate. And then she has to defend. She has to find a way to defend, possibly check. I'm not sure. I like the idea of threatening it though. This is also possible. This check. And that would be mate. I think it's mate no matter what. Yeah, I don't think she can defend. I don't see a defense against it. Let's see if she has one. I think it's mate. I don't advise the let's see if someone has a mate, but check. And then the queen can come in. That'd be mate. Protected by the rook, attacking the king, and protecting all these squares. And if I call it check, the king has no legal moves. That's the only move she has. So it's checkmate in 2. And that's another reason why puzzles are important. You get to see a lot of pattern recognition. Even though I don't remember this specific checkmate in a puzzle, they're all interchangeables. They're only interchangeable if you learn forcing moves. Forcing moves you have to learn first and then learn puzzles. If you don't know what forcing moves are, they're checks, captures, and threats. And when you learn how to calculate those, that's when puzzles become like real life games. All right. And that's checkmate. I hope that was a bit instructive for the King's Indian, especially when someone plays a little bit of weird moves. The bishop on G, I'm going to exit out of here. The bishop here is very important to attack. Sometimes this pawn breaks, sometimes this one. Most of the time, it's going to be c5. When your knight's here, you do have this tactic against the f3 pawn if your pawn is still here. Because if they take it, you can take it, especially if there's 2 pieces here. There's a lot of, I think this is very instructive, a lot of different specifics. So I'm going to leave the video as it is. And I'm going to get going. And if you wanted to watch it again for just for some ideas for the King's Indian, that would be great. I usually play the Budapest opening against c4 and d4, but after this video, I'm actually pretty happy with the idea of it. Huh. Look at the game review. That was a little weird. Let me see if I can do the analysis. I'm a little curious. It said I blundered a couple of times. Oh, now it's saying I didn't blunder at all. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, there's no way I blundered. I mean, one inaccuracy. Yeah, all book moves. This I didn't know was a book move. Right here, I thought that was a bad move, but it is a book move. So now I know it's not really a bad move. And master games after that is e5, c5, and a6. I chose b6. So b6 was my inaccuracy. So in this position here, this is what I suggested. And that's the move that I played. And apparently that was a bad move. So now me and you both know that. I'm going to have to look at this a little bit and try to memorize that this is a book move. And I should probably play c5. So these are small things that I have to learn if I want to become master. I have to be very specific to that detail. Right now, where I'm at, I pretty much know a lot of everything except my accuracy is not very high. That's pretty much it. Let's go ahead. B6. Around best is C5. Yep. Next. That's brilliant right here, which I didn't think it was brilliant. Well, actually, it is actually because I take advantage of so much. I could see why it's considered brilliant. Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. These all become targets. And knight e5 was obviously really good. If I want to retry it, I want to see what they think about the rook move. Okay, it's good. All right. I'm glad it was good. I kind of thought that was weird. I thought queen to c7 was best, which I really don't understand why. I don't think I will understand some of this stuff because some of it doesn't make any sense. So either it's an outrageous computer move that is calculating a lot of stuff, or it fits in one of the chess principles that I haven't fully learned or understood yet. I learned a lot of them, but I don't fully understand some of them. So this right here could either be a computer move that doesn't make sense to human, or it is within the realms of the normal stuff that I don't get. I mean, it also could be just because of all this stuff on here. I mean, I don't know. Okay, let's see what's best. I can see that. I can see that. Because rook going here only attacks this. Queen here attacks both. So I can see that. You're attacking more one threat. Now it's mate in 6. Mate in 6 still. Now it's mate in 2. So, all right. That was pretty good. Apparently, it was a better move that I could have did for a faster mate, but that was a pretty good one. All right. Well, I'm going to get going. Yeah, the game was very simple and straightforward. I think it had some good detail for the King's Indian. Just like, subscribe, share if you can, because I'm trying to get my channel growing. I have less than 100 subscribers. I forget 97. I have 97. So yeah, just like, subscribe, share, and if you can donate, that'd be great. Thank you. I'm gonna get going now and just leave it as is because I think this was a good one for the King's Indian. Yeah. All right, bye.